Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most dramatic and defining moments of modern warfare, the Crimea Bridge strikes, and how this single structure has turned into Russia's nightmare, symbolizing the impossible challenges it faces in Ukraine. This isn't just a story about a bridge. It's a story about pride, power, and the relentless push of history against those who try to defy it. The Crimea Bridge, also known as the Kerch Bridge, was supposed to be unbreakable. When Vladimir Putin inaugurated it in 2018, it stood as the physical and political link between Russia and the annexed Crimean Peninsula, a $4 billion engineering marvel meant to show the world that Crimea was Russian forever. It wasn't just a bridge made of steel and concrete. It was a declaration carved into the landscape, a monument of dominance. But every empire's pride eventually turns into its vulnerability, and that's exactly what happened. The first major attack on the bridge in October 2022 stunned the world. A massive explosion ripped through the structure, collapsing sections of the roadway and setting oil tankers ablaze. The smoke, black and rising high over the Kerch Strait, wasn't just the burning of metal, it was the burning of illusion. Russia's unbreakable connection to Crimea had been broken. The Kremlin immediately rushed to restore the bridge, pouring resources into repairs and tightening security. They wanted to prove they were still in control, but Ukraine had already made its point. The bridge had become a target, not just of missiles and drones, but of symbolism. Every strike on it sent a message: Crimea is not safe, Russia is not invincible, and this war is far from over. Months later, the strikes came again, each attack more precise, more strategic, and more daring. Drones skimming across the water, missiles guided through electronic chaos, explosions timed perfectly to disrupt Russia's supply chains. The Crimea Bridge, once a lifeline, turned into a liability. Every truck crossing it carried not only supplies but also fear. Every convoy felt like a gamble. For Russia, the bridge was essential. It connected its mainland to Crimea, allowing it to move troops, fuel, and ammunition directly into the southern front. It was the artery that kept the occupation alive. But when Ukraine began targeting it repeatedly, that artery began to bleed. Supplies slowed, morale dropped. Soldiers on the front lines felt the pressure, the illusion of safety vanished. The most recent strike hit harder than before. Ukraine's new wave of precision attacks managed to once again damage the bridge's structure, disrupting traffic for days and sending shockwaves through the Russian military command. Videos flooded social media, showing fragments of concrete plunging into the sea, fires raging under the steel arches. The world watched as Russia scrambled, once again, to explain the unexplainable. For the Ukrainian side, this was more than just a tactical victory. It was psychological warfare at its finest. The Crimea Bridge isn't just a supply route, it's the symbol of Russia's claim to Crimea. Every time it's struck, it shakes that claim to its core. It reminds everyone, the occupiers and the occupied alike, that nothing built on stolen land can stand forever. Behind the strikes lies months of preparation, intelligence gathering, and daring execution. Ukrainian forces have become masters of modern asymmetric warfare, using smaller, cheaper, smarter technologies to outthink a larger, more powerful enemy. Sea drones that evade radar, missiles that fly low and fast, cyber operations that blind Russian defenses before the strike. This isn't the war of the 20th century, it's a new age of warfare where agility defeats might. Russia, on the other hand, faces an impossible equation. It can't protect every target, can't guard every inch of occupied land. The more it tries to tighten its grip, the more pressure builds against it. Each time the Crimea Bridge is hit, Russia's image as a military superpower takes another blow. It's not just the physical damage, it's the psychological fracture. The bridge was meant to show strength, but now it only shows weakness, and the symbolism runs deep. Think about it, a bridge that once connected two lands now divides two futures. For Russia, it represents control. For Ukraine, it represents defiance. Every explosion is a statement. We can reach you. We will reach you. That's what makes these strikes so powerful. They turn infrastructure into a battleground for belief. In Moscow, the narrative is tightly controlled. The Kremlin insists that everything is under control, that repairs are ongoing, that security is tight. But beneath the surface, there's panic. Every new satellite image showing damage to the bridge undermines that confidence. Every drone that slips through exposes the cracks in Russia's defenses. Meanwhile, in Crimea, fear has become the new normal. Residents hear distant explosions and wonder if the bridge will hold. Drivers crossing the Kerch Strait look nervously at the sky. Fishermen report strange lights at night, suspecting drones. The sense of invincibility that Russia promised in 2014 has long faded. What's truly fascinating is how the bridge, once a triumph of propaganda, has turned into the ultimate symbol of failure. It's a case study in how overconfidence can backfire. By making it the centerpiece of its claim over Crimea, Russia gave Ukraine the perfect target. A single structure that represents everything Moscow stands for and everything Kiev wants to destroy. The latest strike proved something deeper. It showed that even after years of war, Ukraine still has the capability, creativity, and courage to hit where it hurts most. It showed that no matter how much Russia fortifies, it can't escape the reach of determination fueled by survival. The bridge isn't just a route, it's a reflection of the war itself. Long, painful, and ultimately unsustainable. Let's talk about why these attacks matter strategically. The bridge is not only a symbol, it's a logistical artery. Destroying it isolates Crimea, cutting off Russian troops from resupply routes. It forces Moscow to reroute supplies through occupied territories like Mariupol and Melitopol routes that are constantly under threat. This slows the Russian war effort dramatically and forces them to burn through fuel, time, and morale. But there's another layer to this, the global one. Each strike on the bridge sends ripples through international politics. It challenges Russia's narrative of control and forces the world to confront the reality of the war. It also tests Western resolve. How far will allies go in supporting Ukraine's strikes on Russian-held territory? Each explosion isn't just a military act, it's a diplomatic statement. And yet, amid all of this, Russia's leadership continues to insist that the bridge will stand. Repair crews rush to patch the damage, engineers work around the clock, and state media floods viewers with images of normal traffic resuming. But the truth is different. Every repair is temporary. Every reconstruction is just a countdown to the next strike. The bridge stands today, but its fate is already written in the sea below. For the Ukrainian people, watching these strikes feels like justice in motion. For years, Crimea was seen as lost, a wound that could never heal. But now, with every explosion, they see hope. They see the possibility of reclaiming what was taken, of reversing what the world once thought irreversible. Russia's frustration grows with every failed defense. Its anti-air systems, once feared, now seem outdated against agile drones and stealth attacks. The balance of power is shifting not because Ukraine has more weapons, but because it has more will. In modern warfare, willpower can be the most dangerous weapon of all. The impossible task Russia now faces is maintaining control over a region that resists it from every direction, from the ground, from the air, from the sea, and from within. The bridge is both a literal and metaphorical connection, and it's cracking under the pressure of reality. No matter how many times it's rebuilt, it's doomed to fall again. As each strike unfolds, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The war has entered a psychological phase. Both sides are not just fighting for territory, but for meaning. Ukraine wants to show that no occupation is permanent. Russia wants to prove it can defy time and history. But history has a cruel way of correcting itself. The world watches with divided emotions, fear of escalation, awe at Ukraine's resilience, and the sobering realization that we are witnessing a turning point in the story of power. The bridge stands today as both an engineering marvel and a monument to hubris. It connects land, but it divides truth from illusion. And for Russia, facing the impossible means confronting what it's tried to ignore all along, that wars fought on lies eventually crumble. Just like that bridge, piece by piece, section by section, until only memories remain of what was once declared eternal. So when we say the Crimea Bridge strikes again, it's not just another headline. It's a symbol of persistence, of courage, of how one act of resistance can shake the foundations of empire. Because in the end, no bridge built on stolen ground can truly stand against the tide of history. And as the world watches those flames flicker across the Kerch Strait once more, we're reminded of something powerful, that even the mightiest can fall, and that sometimes the impossible isn't defeating an enemy, but surviving long enough to prove that truth always finds a way through the cracks. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep, cinematic analyses of the moments reshaping our world. Until next time, stay aware, stay informed, and never stop questioning the stories power tries to tell you.